Today's deep dive, we are going to simplify this for you.
Right. We are connecting the dots on the January 2025 environment and ecology updates. The goal is to turn a pile of isolated facts into one cohesive cheat sheet for your exams,
So let's start at the top of the world, or, well, the coldest parts anyway, the cryosphere.
which comes from the Greek word krios, meaning ice cold. It includes everything frozen, snow, glaciers, permafrost.
And the big concern here isn't just that the ice is melting. For the exams, you need to remember it is about albedo.
Yes, high albedo. Think of it like wearing a white t-shirt on a scorching hot day versus a black one.
Because the white shirt reflects the heat.
Exactly. Snow is that white t-shirt. It reflects about 90% of solar radiation right back into space. But when the ice melts, the darker Earth or ocean underneath absorbs that heat instead.
Which creates a vicious feedback loop. Heat melts ice, less reflection causes more heat.
And that melts even more ice, yeah.
And looking at the data, the consequences are already here. Pre-industrial temperatures are up by roughly 1.2 degrees Celsius.
Right. And the Paris Agreement wants us well below 2 degrees, ideally 1.5. But scientists identified 450 parts per million of CO2 as the critical safety zone.
And projections suggest we are hitting 500 ppm instead. That target is really slipping.
We are actually seeing the physical erasure of geography because of this. Venezuela just lost the Humboldt, which was its last glacier.
Wow.
Yeah, and Indonesia's Eternity Glacier is basically on its deathbed. But for India, the immediate crisis is right in the Hindu Kush Himalaya.
Which brings us directly to the disaster management portion of your syllabus. Because melting glaciers don't just quietly disappear.
No, they do not.
They create glacial lake outburst floods, or GLOFs. The South Lonak Lake disaster in Sikkim back in October 2023 is the textbook example of this cryosphere breakdown turning into a kinetic hazard.
And water really is the common thread in these disasters. While the mountains are flooding, the coasts are facing their own severe threats. Take Cyclone Fengel.
Right, the one that recently made landfall over Puducherry. Saudi Arabia actually named that cyclone, which is a good trivia point.
Definitely. And for the exams, the exact definition of landfall is a very common trap.
Yeah, landfall isn't just when the outer rains start lashing the coast.
Exactly. It is specifically when the eye of the storm moves over the land. That distinction is vital for understanding the timing of impact.
So we have this climate system in total chaos leading to these hazards. Naturally, the world tried to gather to fix this at GECO 29.
Tried being the operative word there.
Right. There was a lot of friction over the global stocktake, the GST text.
Yeah.
The draft pushed to transition away from fossil fuels.
But India and several other developing nations debated that. They argued against a hard phase down of coal without equitable support, basically emphasizing energy security.
And we are not here to endorse either side of that diplomatic debate, just reporting what happened. But that same kind of deadlock appeared in Busan, South Korea, regarding the Global Plastic Treaty.
Oh yeah, that session failed because nations couldn't agree on the core strategy. Do we cap plastic production entirely, or do we just focus on recycling?
And the stakes for India there are massive. We contribute about 20% of global plastic pollution. That's 9.3 million tons.
Which is significantly higher than countries like Nigeria or Indonesia.
Exactly. It explains why our domestic ban on 19 categories of single-use plastics is so aggressive. We are actively trying to clean up the habitat.
Which is a perfect segue to the wildlife updates. Conservation is the other side of the coin. If we clean the environment, who are we saving it for?
Right. And we have two major updates on tiger reserves for you to note. First, the 56th reserve, Guru Ghasidas Tamar Pingla in Chhattisgarh.
And this one is highly significant. Historically, it was the last known habitat of the Asiatic cheetah in India before they were wiped out.
And then we have the 57th reserve, Radhapani Wildlife Sanctuary in Madhya Pradesh.
Since you brought up the cheetah, we have to talk about Project Cheetah at Kuno National Park. The buzzword you need to know there is metapopulation.
Let's break that term down because it sounds complex, but it's pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
A metapopulation is basically a population of populations.
Right. It is groups of the same species separated by space, but they interact through migration corridors.
You absolutely need that flow for genetic diversity so they don't inbreed.
It is essential for their long-term survival, especially since the Asiatic cheetah was declared extinct in India way back in 1952. We are trying to reverse decades of absence.
Meanwhile, look at the Asiatic lions in Gujarat. We have 674 individuals, and their range is actually expanding naturally.
A rare success story.
Yeah. And before we wrap, we can't skip the viral moment of the month. Ava, the golden tabby tiger.
Yes, the strawberry tiger. We need to be very clear for the exams, though. This is not a new species.
Right, it's just a color mutation of the Bengal tiger. Strictly genetic.
Yeah.
Beautiful, but not a new classification.
So to recap your cheat sheet quickly, we have a melting cryosphere changing our albedo, leading to disasters like GLOFs and stronger cyclones.
We have international treaties at a standstill over fuel and plastic.
And locally, India is expanding reserves to reestablish lost populations like the cheetah. It really highlights the tension between a degrading global climate and local efforts to restore biodiversity.
Exactly. And here's a final provocative thought to chew on as you go back to your notes. We're working so hard to build these metapopulations for cheetahs, right? Relying entirely on migration corridors.
Yeah.
But if the climate change we discussed earlier is physically altering the landscape, melting ice, flooding rivers, shifting the
Will
vegetation...
those corridors even exist in 20 years?
Exactly. Are we designing a conservation map for a territory that is literally already disappearing?
That is the ultimate test for modern conservation. Good luck with the revision. You've got this.